This is the unarmed combat system forged by Russian special forces, not for sport, not for tradition, but for survival. Today, we decode its core principles and training methodology. The hand-to-hand combat system of the Russian Spetsnaz is not the invention of a single master, but the product of centuries of brutal necessity, later refined by Soviet military science. Its deepest roots lie in traditional Russian fist fighting, a bare-knuckle brawling tradition dating to the 13th century. The modern system was born from a state mandate in the early 20th century, demanding a supreme, standardized form of hand-to-hand combat for the military. This led to the creation of Sambo in the 1920s, a synthesis of judo, wrestling, and folk styles. From this pragmatic foundation, the specialized unarmed combat curriculum for the USSR's elite special forces was forged. Here's what matters. This system was engineered from the ground up for real combat, not competition. For decades, Spetsnaz hand-to-hand combat was a closely guarded secret. Its evolution was driven by battlefield experiences from World War II to Afghanistan. The end of the Cold War triggered global diffusion, leading to fragmentation. Today, Spetsnaz combat is an umbrella term for several distinct approaches. The two most prominent lineages are Systema Spetsnaz, which emphasizes psychological control and breathing, and Combat Sambo/ARB, the official military sport that includes striking, grappling, and submissions. This split means what's taught under the Spetsnaz name can vary dramatically. Here's why this matters for you. Understanding the difference helps you identify what's relevant for your training. Spetsnaz unarmed combat is built on ruthless pragmatism. The first principle is extreme simplicity and directness. Techniques are stripped of stylistic flourishes. Your primary targets are always the opponent's most vulnerable points: eyes, throat, groin, and joints. The goal is to end the confrontation in the fewest possible movements. Second, aggression as a default. You seize and maintain the initiative through overwhelming, continuous aggression. You transition from defense to crippling counterattack instantly. Here's the application. In a real encounter, you don't trade blows, you end it. Train to target vital areas with maximum force from the first move. A fundamental principle of Spetsnaz training is using any available object as a weapon. But it goes further. You use the environment itself. Walls for trapping, the ground for throws, obstacles for defense. This isn't about fancy techniques, it's about survival. In a hallway, you use the walls to restrict movement. On stairs, you use the height advantage. Here's the mechanics. You train to see every object and surface as a tool. A chair becomes a shield. A pen becomes a blade. A doorframe becomes a leverage point. The takeaway: your environment is your ally. Train to recognize and exploit it in every drill. Physical conditioning in Spetsnaz training is brutal and integrated with skill acquisition. Drills are performed under exhaustion, simulated combat stress, and in adverse conditions. The goal is to forge a fighter who remains effective when tired, cold, and afraid. A typical training cycle includes basic movement and acrobatics, power and endurance conditioning, stance and movement drills, and technical skill acquisition. You practice falling safely from any direction, crawling under pressure, and moving in figure-8 patterns. Here's why. When your adrenaline spikes, you need automatic responses. Train until your techniques are instinctive, even when your body is screaming. The Spetsnaz hand-to-hand combat system was created for Russian special forces, units under the GRU, FSB, and other security agencies. For them, it's not a separate martial art but an integral part of close-quarters battle doctrine, seamlessly integrated with firearms handling and tactical movement. While Systema has been adopted by some police and security units for its psychological aspects, Combat Sambo/ARB has seen wider official adoption due to its testable, competitive nature. Here's the takeaway for you. This system is designed for professionals who need to survive. Every technique has a clear purpose. Train with that same mindset. Strip away the mystique. Train for simplicity, aggression, and adaptability. That is the Spetsnaz way.